So, what's up, guys? What's going on? How was everybody's week?
Rough.
I was pretty
Busy.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, my week's pretty good. It's working out. It's kicking my butt. It's waking up early. It's kicking my butt. Think that's it though. It's getting warm out. It's in the 40s and 50s, man. It is, man. I saw some dew this morning. I was pretty it's getting, before you know it's gonna be springtime. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be NFL draft. And before we know it, it'll be quick. All right, so I'm trying to we gotta get into this. This is the topic. It even superseded Tom Brady, which we'll get on right after this, which is surprising, but it's not surprising. So, Brian Flores suing the NFL. Class action lawsuit for the hiring practices. Dolphins, Broncos, Giants. The Giants, he got the text from Bill Belichick saying Brian Daboll was hired before he even interviewed. The Dolphins, it's a lot of stuff going on with the Dolphins. Owner trying to pay him off $100,000 to lose games each game. Tampering with Tom Brady. He was a quarterback. It came out. Any questions? It was Tom Brady. And the Broncos, he said that John Elway and some of the Broncos execs showed up late and intoxicated or hungover and for the interview. So all these things came out. Brian Flores sued it. Who's ready to dive in?
I guess I go first.
Yeah, I'm about to say I got a lot to say.
Man, I'm gonna keep it at one team. I know we could do an overview, but I think I might just keep this at the team he just left. Of course, I feel like him knowing if you're gonna go this deep into stuff, I pray that he has either taps or a text thread or something to come to the table with. I pray. And if he does, that owner should be immediately fired. That owner should be immediately stepped down. Roger Goodell got to step in. Like, you asked this man to tank games. Then this man won 19 games. You fired him. You've yet to hire a coach. If I'm not mistaken, Miami's yet to hire a coach, correct?
Yep. You're correct.
And at this point, like I said before, what coach can you bring in and what's the expectation going to be? Here's a man who, quite honestly, you probably have the third best roster in your own division, and this man won 20 games in 2 years or 19 games in 2 years. And you fire him and you was asking him to tank games? Like, this is just a huge issue. And I know people can say and come out in anger and say crazy things, but I just don't see this man throwing himself out here as much as he just did and lie about something like this. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a lot of stuff out here that's real and needs to be addressed really quickly before you get a true firestorm in the NFL. It might be you got to get a true firestorm in the NFL that might look like something like the NBA was doing during the during COVID or during the stuff when they started to say they weren't going to play. You might get a firestorm like that soon if the NFL don't do something quick.
Man, go ahead, Corey.
I feel like there's two things at play here. You have Flores' allegations and then the overall allegations with the class action lawsuit. Because honestly, the allegations against the Giants and the Dolphins have nothing to do with the rest of the class action lawsuit. There's nothing that he describes as what Stephen Ross did that has anything that even comes close to saying anything about racial discrimination. He might have a case for wrongful termination, but that has nothing to do with the racial inequity with head coaches in the NFL. I would imagine the Dolphins are going to get hit with some significant penalties from this because the attempted tampering, the trying to tank like that, I don't know if the NFL will go as far as to remove Ross from the team, but I would a hefty fine, and I could see a loss of draft picks if there's any kind of corroboration that Flores has that can back up his claim. The Giants thing, it's one of those. It sucks, but I would imagine that that's happened before. Like, because honestly, the moment the Giants hired the GM, Schoen from Buffalo, everyone knew Dable was going to be the pick. Like, it was former Bills exec was going to hire the hot coaching candidate that he had worked with for 3 years. So the timing of it seems a little weird, especially because part of the lawsuit also has some recommendations for steps that the league can take to try to remedy the problem. But a few of them don't really make sense because the league has already acted on them. Like, one of them is increase the number of Black offensive and defensive coordinators, which is obviously the biggest way to address the issue of lack of head coaches. Because you look at what positions do NFL head coaches come from? It's offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and then occasionally special teams coordinator or quarterback coach. That's basically it.
Yep.
But the NFL already has something in place. A year and a half ago, in 2020, they expanded the Rooney Rule, where you have to interview Black candidates for coordinator positions now too. They also suggest incentivize Black GMs. Well, the NFL's already done that. They did it last year by awarding compensatory picks to the team that has a minority candidate hired to another team as a GM. So it's like, there's no question that there's a severe lack of Black head coaches in the league that has so many Black players. But the time, like, why do this now? Why present this lawsuit in a time where the NFL has actually already started to take some steps to try to address this issue? Like, I understand Flores is angry. He has a right to be angry with what happened in Miami. Although on the flip side, it sounds like there are also some reasons for him to have been fired, culminating with the fact that the Dolphins' way to success is building around Tua and making him successful. It seems like Flores did not want Tua, did not make it a secret he didn't want Tua. And you look at like Jeff Fisher and Vince Young. If you have a head coach stuck with a quarterback he doesn't want, it's not going to work out. And there was also reports that some of the offensive receivers for the Dolphins were happy when Flores got fired. So that there were some tensions between him and the locker room, it seemed like, too.
Yeah.
But like, some of the points that the lawsuit made, I mean, it's such a problem that the NFL proactively started taking steps to try to get more Black coordinators so you can get more Black coaches. So it just, I would be curious to hear what the rationale for taking this step now.
Yeah, I think he's kind of fed up. What's going on? I think it's the straw that broke the camel's back. When he got the text from Belichick, that drew him over the edge. Because it's like, okay, you're right. Everybody knew it, but like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. That's all. I don't want to see it, guys. I was listening to a Draymond Green podcast. He said this. He said, Joe Dumars told him, it's only a handful of teams in the NBA that's trying to win a championship. Not everybody is. He said it, I was like, it has to be teams like that in the NFL. This is a prime example of owners not caring. Ross doesn't care. Like, I listened to, when has Miami been good? Look at the moves they make. They've been good in the 70s. But since Ross has taken over, they haven't been a good franchise. They're a laughingstock. People are, I play for the Dolphins. Be honest, it is. It's one of those teams that don't want to win. Like, even if it's true that he gave 100 G's for every loss, listen, tank for Tua. That was going on. That was what's said. Right? So Who else came? Well, Joe Burrow came out that year, right?
Yeah.
He said he was trying to get Joe Burrow. So they were trying to get the first pick. But as a coach, you're not going to tank and lose games. So, I mean, this is just, you know what it is? We've been seeing it for years. That's what it is. Brian Flores just came out and was like, look, man, it's blatantly, it's blatant, like at this point, right? I mean, the Texans, do you think they're really going to win after they want to hire Josh McCown who has no coordinating experience? And you have the enemy right there? You don't want to win. You just want to, like, come on, man. You can't tell me the Texans want to win and they're going to hire a quarterback with no coaching experience. That's their, come on, man. You can't tell me that they want to win. That's about, now reports are coming out. They don't even know about David Mills. Come on now. Really? Come on.
They're going to give him 3 years, fire him, and hire another coach again.
Nah, but I mean, they said David Mills quarterback. They're not sold on him. This is what I'm talking about, man. They just have money to spend it. And I think Brian Flores reached the boiling point like a lot of people have. Like, come on, man. For real. It's ridiculous. So, you know, I don't know what it's going to change. I don't know. But you know, me and Craig were talking earlier. Craig doesn't even like the Rooney Rule, which I get because listen, I was just telling him, you would have teams say, oh, I'm going to interview Deuce Staley, right? A team for the Eagles. I was listening to the Herd called the Volume podcast. Colin Cowherd's podcast. He had a macho. Can I say it's pronounced that? But he used to play for the Philadelphia Eagles. He said when he did, they interviewed Deuce Staley, who was the running backs coach of the previous regime, knowing that he wasn't going to get the job. They just did it, to Craig's point, satisfy the Rooney Rule. You know? Craig, do you think there are any? Do you think the league can do anything?
As far as what? As
far
as like what Brian Flores is saying, as far as getting more minority coaches.
I guess they can. I mean, it's just a matter of will the owners actually hire minority head coaches? I mean, if you look at it from at least from 2003 when the Rooney Rule started, there was 3 black coaches. Now, 2022, there's 1, Mike Tomlin. So, I mean, you look at that and like you're going backwards if you think about it that way in terms of head coaches. Now, granted, there's a lot of defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator black coaches out there, but there's, I mean, if you're trying to promote them, they're not getting promoted. I mean, my whole thing is if the coach is qualified and he's good enough to be the head coach of the team, whether he's black, white, Hispanic, or whatever it is, then he's the right coach for the job. Yeah. I don't like the Rooney Rule because I think it just throws people a bone. Minorities a bone because it's just like, well, we got to do this hiring process, even though we want to hire head coach A, we got to interview head coach B, C, and D because they're minorities. But we don't have no plans of hiring them, but we're going to satisfy this Rooney Rule. Now, if you're going to do it in good faith and you actually go into it and say, okay, we're going to take whoever is the best qualified coach for this team, we're going to bring them in, and whoever passes the interview to our liking or our satisfaction, whoever has the best resume, whoever has the most promise, whatever you want to call it, if it meets that and you hire on good faith, then okay, yeah, you know what? If he didn't get the job because he wasn't qualified enough and the white guy did or whatever it is, but you consider both of them equally, then that's cool. But I mean, like for the most part, it just seems like black people you go in there, you're just trying to appease the Rooney Rule, and then they're not getting hired regardless. So I think I thought it was a dumb rule a long time ago. I still think it's dumb. I think
it's like a lame duck, like here.
It's pointless. You're just trying to appease the Rooney Rule, trying to appease whatever that's in the bargaining agreement that they came up with a while ago. Well, now it's 2003 was when it came out, and it's just like, okay, we're just going to go ahead and get this. Even though we're not going to hire him, but we're just going to show, hey, look, guys, look over here. We interview 3 minority coaches, but we're not going to hire any of them. We're going to hire the white head coach or whatever it is. So I mean, like I said, if they're qualified for it,
You just want to be fair.
I just want the best coach who's qualified to be the coach, whether he's black, white, Hispanic, whatever. I don't care who it is. If the Panthers were going to hire a head coach, I wouldn't get upset because they didn't interview a black head coach. If he's not qualified, or if he's not qualified to make it to the final cut, he's not qualified to make it to the final cut. I mean, it is what it is. But they just hired Matt Rule, so whatever. They don't know anything. So the thing is, what I'm saying is that this Brian Flores, he has a legit point if he can prove that it's racial profile or is racism in it. If you can prove that it's racism in it involved in this process, then yeah, I'm for it. Like, you just go ahead and get whatever you can get out of it. But I mean, if there's like no really weight to it, I mean, you're just wasting your time. You just kind of blackballed yourself, possibly, because he probably could have been the coach of the Texans. Who knows? But I mean, as far as the Dolphins thing, that's the thing that kind of I saw that was like a big red flag. If the owners ask you to tank games,
yeah, that's crazy.
Something's got to happen to that owner. Like, I mean, if it's proven that he told him to tank games to get the number 1 pick, and then I think they try to offer the Bengals 3 number 1 picks for Burrow.
Yeah.
That effect. So I mean, they really wanted to get Joe Burrow by tanking or by draft picks, and the Bengals obviously said no. But like, if that came out and that's true, then yeah, I mean, there's something has to be done to that franchise. At least I don't know, maybe fire the owner. It might be a little bit too much of a stretch, but because he didn't really, I don't know if it's really illegal what he did, but you know, it just looks really bad. And now they don't have a coach.
Yeah,
and you know, looking for a coach.
I don't think they're gonna. I don't think nothing's drastic is gonna happen. I'm being honest.
It's definitely going to depend on if Flores has any evidence to back it up, or if it's just Flores' word against Jones. I think the NFL is going to have to do something either way. But
he's not the only owner. I tell you that much.
Oh, I'm sure.
The NFL came out and basically just dismissed the allegations against it.
Yeah,
we're going to go ahead and look into this.
This does, yeah.
Are we very seriously as an organization or whatever it is? They didn't say nothing like that.
No, they did.
Dismissed it.
Yeah,
they don't care.
No, they don't.
So I mean, I don't see him. I don't see Brian Flores unless he has like actual evidence, proof, and all that other stuff.
I hope he does.
A nice paper trail. Then yeah, I can see him getting something. But if he doesn't, it's just his word against theirs, and it's just. I mean, I don't see nothing.
A lot of people saying that she has merit, so he might have more evidence than.
Well, his lawyers said they got coaches reaching out to them saying that our owner said this stuff to us too regarding the tanking for whatever, tanking for games or whatever it is.
This is ridiculous, man. You're just losing games. Doesn't even care.
Hey, quick question. I ain't hear about nobody else interviewing for the Raiders job. So did they interview the interim coach and that satisfied the Rooney Rule? And then they hired McDaniels?
They conducted a handful of interviews, I do believe.
I'm talking about minorities though. I'm talking about did they
I think
just
he
interview
is.
and that satisfied? I think he's a minority. I think he is a minority.
Minorities for head coach jobs.
Oh, okay.
You said what? Say it again, Craig.
Did you have to interview 3 minority coaches for head coaching jobs and 2 minority coaches for GMs to satisfy the rule, supposedly?
No. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But I think he is.
I don't know who else interviewed for the Raiders job, but
I don't know who else.
Hey, listen. I don't even think they interviewed that interim coach. I think they slid him some money under the table and told him, act like you got interviewed. We thank you for your service, and knew they was going to hire Josh McDaniels. I truly believe that. That's just me.
I mean,
the Raiders were kind of everywhere, though. We don't know who they were going.
So it looks like Gerard Mayo interviewed with the Raiders. They had requested an interview with D'Amico Ryans.
His name's getting hot too, D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah. So yeah, and it looks like they did interview a few.
Raiders was everywhere because Harbaugh was supposed to be over there, and then Josh McDaniels came.
Well,
Well,
now
as soon as the Raiders, a lot of the coaching stuff though, like you had a lot of teams interviewing coaches before a GM was in place, which is
weird,
not the way to go about it.
No,
I don't. Definitely not.
So like once the Raiders hired their GM that had ties to New England, it was all but a guarantee that McDaniels was coming. Which best of luck to them.
Didn't the Vikings do that? The Vikings hired their GM before they even started, right?
Yeah. No, they
hired their GM.
They hired their GM
recently. Right? I don't know if it was before or after some coaching interviews were done.
I don't know, but I thought they. I don't
know.
The
GM is in place now. Yeah,
the GM is in place, right? And I think
I know he was in place when they just interviewed Harbaugh. I think Harbaugh interviewed today, didn't he? Or Harbaugh had conversations today.
Harbaugh did today. A couple other people did yesterday. But I know Chicago was another place that was doing some GM and head coaching interviews like at the same time, which just seems backwards.
It's baffling
because you're really not going to be locking in on head coaching candidates until your GM's in place.
Yeah, because then you want to talk to the GM. But hey, I like that. Since we're talking about coaches, man, we could just start with it. We could actually start with Josh McDaniels. Do y'all think he's gonna come over do you think that Josh McDaniels is going to endure the Belichick curse?
No.
No. I mean, you know what I mean. The curse where they don't do good. Do you think he's gonna? Yeah.
There's nothing Josh McDaniels has done to make me believe that he'll succeed as a head coach. He had to show that he had learned lessons from his epically flaming out with Broncos, and then he went and pulled the stuff in 2018 with Indianapolis, which kind of showed me that he hadn't learned anything.
Yeah.
And I don't know why anybody is expecting anything to change with him. I mean, I kind of hope that them bringing him in means that they're going to get rid of Derek Carr. That gives the Colts a chance. Of course, he says that now. He also probably said the same thing about Jay Cutler before shipping him off in Denver and drafting Tim Tebow and wasting a first-round pick.
That put their franchise back.
Several years.
Yeah.
Years.
They had to go get Peyton Manning to dig out of
it. What you about to say, Craig? You said something about D'Amico Ryans?
No, I was saying that, like, if you look at the overall record of Bill Belichick coaches,
his coaching tree,
it's 175, 252, and 1.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yes.
It's not good. So I mean, if you look at that, it doesn't look good for him to actually come out and have but I guess the good thing that he has is that he has a playoff team. He has a quarterback if he wants to keep him in place.
Pieces.
It's not like it's going to be a rebuild for him. He's taking over and went to the playoffs. So if he can figure out what to do with the quarterback, I don't know if he wants to keep him. I think he said he wanted to keep him, but who knows?
We'll
get
see.
Wide receiver help in there and upgrade the defense a little bit. I think they'll be straight. But I mean, as far as Josh McDaniels, man, he wasn't good, man. Like he wasn't good he had so many bad mismanagement issues, and like I'm just hoping the 11 years since he was a coach last time, if he can figure out what he did wrong and take some of that stuff that he had with Bill Belichick, which I mean clearly doesn't work for everybody, but maybe that'll help him out. But he should be in a better situation, I would assume, or something solid. I just don't like the hire.
To me, I'm gonna be honest with you. I would have went after Harbaugh if I was the Raiders. That's just me. I think he fits what the Raiders are about. He wants total control. Give it to him. He just fits Las Vegas. I know he likes Derek Carr because he knows how valuable a quarterback is. That's just me. I am done with the Belichick tree. Only one is Brian Flores, and unfortunately, I don't think he'll ever coach in the NFL again.
He was under 500.
Yeah, but he had 2 back-to-back winning seasons, which Belichick coaches don't do, and I have to see it to believe it. You know, what's that saying? You can piss on my head and tell me it's raining. I'm not gonna like. I have to see it. People are like, oh, that's a good hire. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know if he's changed.
Yeah, that's what I question. Has he changed? He has the pieces, and if his style of offense is what he was running in New England, he has the pieces in place. I know I said last week he would need to go get OJ Howard. I think that would be a perfect fit to go with Wilder. But you have a running back in place. You have a solid quarterback in place. We all said get another receiver. So you have things in place to run the offense. My question is his character, and is he going to hold up and make the right decisions for this team, for this franchise? You know, will he care about defense? Will he keep Derek Carr, or go say, I want to get my own guy and go out there and draft one of these dudes from Ole Miss or one of these other dudes and think something. Now you sitting there 3-14 and looking like, oh, what happened? And you set another franchise back 10 years.
I do a 3-way team trade and get Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh my God!
Listen,
I'm just saying, man.
He worked with him for 3 years.
Listen, no, I don't. Hey, no disrespect, Jimmy G. No disrespect to you, but listen here. No. Like that be a slap in Derek Carr's face. That'd be almost like walking up to Derek Carr and just slapping him right in his face. Like, no, man, no.
Effectively, yes.
Like, no,
Look,
man.
We don't know.
Garoppolo has been to a Super Bowl. Garoppolo was in New England for 3 years, and word was Belichick was ready to move on with Garoppolo from Brady. So, and I would assume McDaniels was at least in on that thought process. So I don't think it's crazy to say you would want to go with Jimmy Garoppolo over Derek Carr, because Derek Carr is clearly the better quarterback. But knowing that Josh McDaniels in the past has been involved with some pretty bad decision making, it wouldn't surprise me.
Go ahead, let him go there.
I'm just saying.
It keeps him out of Carolina.
Yeah.
Tell you what, man. Hey,
Hold on. Are you done? Are you gonna? Okay.
I'm not gonna be hurt. I'm more of a.
Are you gonna be hurt?
I'm probably gonna be checked out for that season, next year or this season.
It's gonna hurt. Yeah, it's gonna hurt.
I would not want Jimmy Garoppolo on my team, not at all. There's talk about him going to Washington, though. Let him go to Washington.
Yeah, okay.
Well, today it came out that said, well, I read it, maybe I misread it, but it was saying that the 49ers, he's gonna determine where he wants to go.
That's how I read it. Yeah, like a mutual understanding.
Mutual understanding. So I don't think he's gonna listen. The Commanders aren't a place where quarterbacks he's probably gonna end up at Tampa.
Not to be disrespectful, I guarantee.
He's gonna end up somewhere that he wants to go.
Not to be disrespectful, but I guarantee San Francisco won't bat no eye or cry about trading within conference. I guarantee they won't sweat out trading within the NFC, like Green Bay would necessarily do with Rodgers or Seattle would do with Wilson.
Yeah, you know? I mean,
I guess it being a Donovan McNabb situation where
he doesn't scare you.
So when he says that he wants to pick a likely destination, I don't think the Commanders are on his list. I think it's a team that he's going to break down. I don't think.
If I was him, I would rather go to Washington than Tampa.
Yeah, but
Corey, what are you doing here, man?
But he said he want to go to a winning team. So what's the list of winning teams that he could go to that doesn't have a quarterback already in place?
Denver,
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh needs a QB.
That'd be one. That'd be the two I'd probably say for.
He'll fit Pittsburgh.
I wouldn't go to New Orleans. He don't fit New Orleans. I wouldn't go to New Orleans.
I think New Orleans should probably blow it up. Tampa.
New Orleans needs to blow it up.
Doesn't have a lot of cap space. They've got a lot of a lot of free agents. I think Tampa would probably be best suited at this point to potentially blow it up.
Yeah.
They got the ring.
Yeah. You went all in, you got the ring. All right, let's let Corey, your favorite, Matt Eberflus. Am I saying that right?
Eberflus. Yeah, I think he's a solid coach. He holds players accountable. One of the big things he harps on as a defensive coordinator was effort. They would go through and track the number of loafs on the field per game, and he would hound players on it. His defensive players seem to buy into it. But I will say the biggest knock on him as defensive coordinator is just he's really slow to make adjustments. And it led to the Colts defense giving up some really big games to some really not great quarterbacks. Guys like Trevor Lawrence, Gardner Minshew, Josh Johnson. And I will say a lot of people from the outside thought it was a little weird because, you have Justin Fields. You would think they want to develop him with an offensive coach.
Yeah.
There is also, it seems like a tendency of a lot of teams and owners to want to swing the opposite direction on a new hire. So you had Matt Nagy, who is an offensive coach, so they go the other way and get a defensive. It's like, I know it's a tendency, but it's something that you may not necessarily need to fall into. Maybe he'll end up being a better all-around head coach than just defensive coordinator. I mean, the Colts did have a top 10 defense this year. It's just that they struggled to close games. They struggled against bad quarterbacks. So we'll see. His OC hire is going to be really important. Luke Getsy from Green Bay, who is the quarterback's coach.
Yes.
I know very little about him.
It's
taken a big swing on a coordinator that he worked under LaFleur, Rodgers, and I don't know if he has previous connections to Eberflus or not, but I would have thought he might try to go for a more established guy. That's where I think a Jim Caldwell would have been a good hire.
Oh yeah.
But it's Chicago has to hope that it's the right hire because, I mean, their all-time leading passer is Jay Cutler. So you need to get this quarterback pick right. And we'll see if he can do it.
Yeah, Luke. Craig, what you got to say?
I like to hire as far as, if you had a quarterback that was a veteran and he was already there, he was established or whatever it is, I think it'd be straight. Or even if the defense was like really, really bad, but the offense was 30th in the pass last year, 24th overall in total yards. I think you just needed to bring somebody in that could help bring along Justin Fields. I'm not saying he can't do it, but I think maybe with the OC coming in, whoever that's going to be, I think who's it going to be?
Luke Getsy.
Getsy, yep.
It's just like he has no experience of being an offensive coordinator. The new head coach has no experience of being a coach, and the GM is new as well. So you got 3 new guys coming in, and it's just like, is that actually going to work? And then you have obviously Chicago, who's known for defense. I thought this was a great time to get then they had Nagy and stuff, but he's trash. But I just thought maybe they could go get an offensive guy and bring him in and hopefully get Fields up to speed and get him straight. But as far as the hire, like he's very detailed, he's very organized from what I've been reading. And obviously he's a really good defensive coordinator. So I'm hoping that this works out for everybody because I really want to see Fields prosper and I really want to see him come along and be a solid quarterback.
Yeah.
At the top pick that they traded up for, but I'm kind of iffy on this one. But like Corey said, I think it's because they went from offensive guy last time. Now they're trying something different with defensive guy, but it just would have been nice to have an established, at least an established offensive coordinator for Justin Fields.
Absolutely.
Minimum.
I wonder how long they will give him because ain't no free agents really jumping to go to Chicago. And so now the question would be is, I don't know their draft status or whatnot, but would they be able to pull Cincinnati? Because now the model is Cincinnati in this situation right now. A person who's never been a head coach before. You have a quarterback. Not to say Justin Fields is Burrow. I'm not saying Justin Fields is Burrow, but you have a young quarterback. And now it's like, what do you do to the draft? Because obviously they're going to build through the draft and probably bring in a bunch of dudes that nobody wants. You're not going to bring in no big name free agents. So you're going to bring in a bunch of dudes who's going to be hungry, who's going to just do what you ask because they feel like this is some of their last opportunities, like kind of how the Bengals just did. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do this. But like y'all just said, it just if you're making this about Justin Fields, your moves are not showing that you're making it about Justin Fields. Like you're hiring, like y'all say, you're hiring a defensive coach who's never been a head coach before. Then you're hiring
Mo.
development. Yeah.
There you go.
It's Froze. Did y'all hear me about the moves they made?
Some of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now I was saying you're saying this about Justin Fields, but your moves doesn't speak to it. Your moves don't add up to it. You know, you're hiring a defensive-minded coach that's never been a coach before, and then you're hiring a quarterback coach to be the old coordinator when there's established minds, there are great offensive coordinators out here that's on the market. But you hire a quarterback coach. I understand he coached Aaron Rodgers, but come on now. Are we really gonna make that the sticking point for the hire?
Yeah. I definitely agree. So we talked about this. We said the league is trending toward the offensive side. If you have a young quarterback, it's great for you to get an offensive-minded head coach. That's it, right? Besides, okay, Andy Reid, Pat Mahomes fits. All right. Zach Taylor, Joe Burrow fits. Sean McVay's an offensive-minded head coach, whether it's Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, it fits. Kyle Shanahan, offensive-minded head coach. Fits, right? Buffalo has Sean McDermott, but Brian DeBall is a strong offensive-minded coach. So right now, Uberfest is putting all his money on Luke Getty.
Yeah.
Because if he would have hired Corey, right? If he hired Jim Caldwell, he would have straight. Caldwell's phenomenal.
Yeah, Caldwell, I think, did a really good job calling plays in Baltimore that year. He has a long track record of working with quarterbacks. I think it would have been a very safe hire in a situation where Eberflus could like, hey, you largely take care of the offense. I got the defense.
Yes.
It would have been a smart hire.
Perfect, right? So now we know there's about good head coaches too. Like Tomlin's a good head coach. Tomlin delegates, which is good. You can say, listen, I have my things about Mike McCarthy, but Mike McCarthy delegates. Your offense, Kellen Moore. Your defense, Dan Quinn. I'm gonna answer questions and smash watermelons. That's what he does. It's okay, right?
He delegates to the point that you wonder what he actually does.
Exactly. It's right. So, but he needs. So hopefully this works out. I hope he does. But he is betting a lot of money on Lugetti. He is. Yeah. He's betting a lot, and if it goes wrong, it could ruin Justin Fields' career, set the franchise back, and I mean people are going to get fired.
Chicago gave up a 1 and a 4 in this year's draft to move up last year to get Fields, and now he has a GM and head coach that has no ties to him.
So you think that he'll? Oh, you're right. This NFL's a dirty game. If they don't come out, oh man, they could.
You get through year one. Does Eberflus look around, try to find a veteran to think he can win with now?
Yeah. Or does he draft? What did they say? Next year's draft class is going to be great.
Potentially, a lot better.
A lot better, right? So he might, which is unfortunate for which is unfortunate for Justin Fields. I hope that doesn't happen. So this is what I'm saying. He's betting a lot.
No.
So another team is making a huge bet on Nathaniel Hackett. which is very interesting because he didn't call plays. Aaron Rodgers loves him. They say he's a great leader. His dad was a head coach. He's coming from a coaching family like the Harbaughs, coaching family. The Broncos hire him, offensive mind. I think it's an all-in to get Aaron Rodgers. That's just me. I don't think they hired him for anything else.
That's kind of where I was going with it too. We need to figure out the quarterback situation, and with him there, it's already like an easy path to try to get Aaron Rodgers, to go all in for Aaron Rodgers at least. The offense clearly is just missing a quarterback, in my opinion. Like the defense is solid. They have a good running game, a lot of wide receivers. They even have to bring in Devontae if they wanted to, as far as
they could.
So I mean, they're only missing a quarterback, and obviously he's not on the roster right now. They're 19th in the pass, and I mean, with this guy, he helped Blake Bortles come to the play or bring him to the playoffs.
So do you think though that's 5 draft picks though, right? Huh? That's like 5 first draft picks if they get Rodgers and Devontae. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
For a Super Bowl?
I don't know if they get Super Bowl. I'm just saying. I don't know.
It makes them competitive.
If they can pull it off,
they pull the Rams. That's what you said.
Yeah, I mean the pattern is showing that though. That's another pattern that's trending in this league that people are willing to go all out to win right now. Like
you're not Rodgers playing 5 more years. I can see him.
And I mean, if you're Denver, you trade Jerry Jeudy and 3 1s for Devontae and Rodgers.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Because you know Green Bay is going to franchise, so they're going to have to. But I could see that they have the cap space in the capital.
So, and this is another reason that shows me. So I'm gonna give you one reason of my thing and why it shows that I'm on the same page with y'all, that this is all out.
You know what? he has to have like 1G Wi-Fi. It's okay.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what's going on. Bill's office coordinator got a job. So you mean to tell me you couldn't hold out to hire Duvall and you went out and hired somebody who's not even calling plays? Like clearly you're showing your hand that whatever we can do to try to get Rodgers here. Because if I was them, I'd have hired the Bills. But I understand the hire as an offensive coordinator because I'm a firm believer of this. This me, and it goes back to our overtime conversation. I'm still high on defense wins championships. Okay. I still think it's excusable that you got top 3 defense, but you don't make the playoffs. I understand it's the AFC. I understand.
No, it's excusable. It's excusable. They lost. Yeah, you're right. I agree with you.
But to not even be at least fight to the last day though. Like they were out 3-4 weeks before the season was over. Like it wasn't like they was in contention up to the end. Like,
they should have made the playoffs.
I mean,
they should.
They were in it longer than they should have been with the quarterbacks they had.
Facts.
No, Craig. No, Craig. I'm saying with that talent on their roster, man. Like
they had injuries on offense. They had Sutton and Judy. They didn't really play. The quarterback clearly sucks. So I mean, what are they supposed to do? Like the quarterback is terrible.
Wait, which one?
You know, both of them. You can
you know who it is. Go ahead, say his name.
I'm saying everybody knows that. There's no secret. But Drew Lock sucks too. It's not like he's any better.
Drew Lock. I think he had 2 games, 2 good games. I think.
Man, get out of here with that. Nah, you had 2.
Go ahead.
I will say what Hackett has called plays before, both in Buffalo and Jacksonville. But the quarterbacks that he was in charge of helping develop in those was EJ Manuel and Blake Bortles. That didn't really work out great for either. And to Mo's point about hiring Dable, I do have to keep in mind that has to be a 2-way street. Like Dable would have had to have had interest in Denver as well. Fair. And I think as soon as somebody he had worked with in-house in Buffalo got a GM job, that's exactly where he wanted to go because I would imagine he would feel much more comfortable working with somebody that he knows presumably pretty well. Because I would imagine that those 2 guys probably knew they were coming up and had conversations about working together.
So
I agree.
You did the connection with the GM was bigger than the maybe opportunity. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, because I feel like he probably feels safer. Safer position job.
I got you. Because
same with Josh McDaniels in Vegas. Same thing with McDaniels in Vegas. They're both Patriot guys.
Yeah.
Like they had conversations about this.
Yeah, and coach and GM, when you have hires like that, those two are tied together now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Pace and Nagy was in Chicago. They got an extension, they got their quarterback, they were tied together, and they were going to win or succeed together.
Nah, both of you gotta go. Yeah.
Wait a minute, hold on. Corey, let me ask this. Is Chris Ballard tied to Frank Wright?
I think they are now, yeah.
Yeah.
They both got they got extensions to have their contracts run out at the same time down the line.
Yeah,
I do think those they succeed or fail together.
That makes sense. All right, we just brought him up. Brian DeBall, New York Giants. Now we know we hired him because of the GM and the Bills before they interviewed anybody. So the thing is this though. Is Brian DeBall happy with Daniel Jones?
No, but I think this is their best. I think this is for me, I say this is their best hire since the Coughlin era ended. I question every hire since the Coughlin era ended, and this one right here, I don't necessarily question. I say it's a good hire, but I got two questions: how long they gonna give him, and two, are they? This was going to depend. Now hold up. Does he go? He got a decision to make right here this year that's going to determine how long he gets. Because if he go a year with Daniel Jones, then backtrack and go to a rookie quarterback, how long does he get? If he goes now to a rookie, will they let him develop? Will they let him develop the rookie? But look at this draft class. And I know it's going to sound real funny. I know it's going to sound real bad and real disrespectful. But honestly, I don't even see a quarterback in this draft better than Daniel Jones. And that's saying a lot. But I don't see a quarterback in this draft.
Leave, bro.
I'm being honest. There's not a quarterback in this draft right now that will step into the Giants and do a better job than Daniel Jones. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Especially not with what the Giants have on their roster. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Your best receiver is Slayton. That's not gonna work. Sorry. You have Barkley, but if your best receiver is
they got Galladay.
Galladay. I mean, Galladay stayed hurt. I didn't even know Galladay was playing sometimes in the game. I didn't even know he was going to. I was like, where he at?
Too much. I don't know that Tony's much.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a hot name last year. He was getting a job this year. It's just a matter of where. What he did with Josh Allen was extremely impressive. You look at progression from rookie year to year 4 now.
He's done real good. Yeah.
Massive strides were made. I will say Daniel Jones's skill set is somewhat similar to Josh Allen and what he did with him there. So I think you bring him in also because you see that he might be able to mold with Daniel Jones a little bit. I assume it's a situation where it's 1 year. If GM and coach aren't happy with where Jones is after the season, they have no ties to him. He's gone. Start over.
And they have a plethora of quarterbacks next year.
Yeah.
They'll have 2 or 3, and with Daniel Jones, they'll have a top pick.
Because none of these all right, so none of these veterans want to be traded to come to New York. So that limits that option.
I don't know.
Russell Wilson's interested.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if he gets Russell, oh man, if Russell Wilson goes to the Giants,
no, his career will be.
He's going to be in the same situation. He has no line. He's going to be running for his life. The offensive line is really, really bad, if not worse, in New York than it is in Seattle. I mean, and then you have another running back who's hurt, just like he has in Seattle. And it's even worse because he has wide receivers that are hurt for the Giants. I mean, I don't know, man.
To be honest with you, I wouldn't even be surprised if in a year Saquon asked for a trade. Like Saquon's going to be wasted.
If traded anyway, because I would trade him.
Do you pick up his 5th-year option?
That's a good question.
I mean, he's gonna be wasted. He's gonna be wasted in New York because he's too good of a talent to be looking like this.
And he gets hurt though.
Unless your first pick is offensive lineman,
he gets hurt, man. And they drafted. Their draft.
The draft is terrible.
Their drafts have been terrible. And it's funny. I asked Giants fans this. I said, why did y'all fire Jerry Reese? Oh, because he didn't draft good. I was like, what? Compared to now? Compared to now? He got you Eli. All right. JPP.
Yeah.
Tuck. 2
Yeah.
Super Bowls, I believe, under Jerry Reese. I believe so. I have to look that up. But it's like, Josh said, I don't like him. You don't like him, but he drafted well. No offense, Craig, but what's his name? Dave Gettleman.
Hey, look,
I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what he was doing, man. He
Gettleman was
drafted
solid.
horrible.
I don't know.
Yeah, he
What
was solid at Carolina. He
I mean,
drafted
the hire made sense in New York.
ridiculous. It did. I was like, okay, they got it right, and then he just made some crazy.
I don't know what
picks.
happened.
Like last year, that pick
Last
with
year's pick
Tony, that's just
So dumb.
crazy.
Didn't make any sense. That didn't make any sense at all.
That should make no sense.
It didn't.
You had all those tackles. You know you need O-line help. You don't need a receiver.
He picked up Saquon's 5th-year option, which
Okay, there we go.
the production hadn't warranted it. Then you go and draft Tony, who misses a ton of time, is having issues. Like,
You could have got to just get an O-lineman. That O-lineman class was good.
The year before this, you drafted the O lineman from Georgia who's been inconsistent, like been terribly.
Hernandez. That's the name.
Not Thomas.
Oh, yep. Andrew Thomas.
Thomas,
Right?
I think it is, something like that.
Yeah.
He's been inconsistent, so it's just been bad. Like defensively, didn't they draft one of them Clemson D linemen, and he been, I don't even know he on the field at times. Didn't they draft one of the Clemson D linemen?
They did.
They drafted the other one, not the one that Oakland drafted, not the one that Oakland drafted at 4. They drafted the other one that was pretty decent.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name.
Can't think of
It
his
was
name.
Lawrence, and it was another one. One of them last name was Lawrence, and it was another
Lawrence. Yeah.
Is that
Was
the
it
one
Lawrence?
the Giants? I think it was Lawrence.
one. Yeah, where he been at? Like, I mean,
Dexter
one thing they did,
Lawrence.
the one dude they did bring in who's been solid is they brought in Williams from the Jets. He's been having solid seasons back to back. But Leonard Williams. But outside of that, ain't been nothing.
I mean, their defense has been decent. Their
Bradbury-
defense has
Bradbury-
been
They got
decent.
Bradbury.
Their defense has been. Their
Yeah,
defense has been good, yo.
It's
Their
been
defense
pretty
has
good.
been The defense is, but I just like Craig said, NFL teams do not give coaches a long time.
Nah. What, 3 years at best? Maybe
Getting 2.
2.
That's all they've been giving
I mean,
them anyway.
They've been giving. You're
It
right.
depends.
Because two.
I'm saying, like, if they get rid of this quarterback after this season, then I think they might have a chance to.
It resets the clock.
Yeah,
It should.
I mean, their track record the last couple of coaches has been 2 years. I don't think
Yeah, they have. You're right.
I mean, but if you look at it, though, the coaches that they hired ended up being really bad choices, and it was pretty clear they needed to go.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. They gave Pat Schumer 2 years, right?
Yeah.
They gave. What's his name? Craig. I just hired him.
McAdoo.
McAdoo. They gave him 2 years, right?
They gave McAdoo 2 years, I think.
Then they gave Joe Judge 2 years.
Yeah.
Am I missing somebody else? Craig is right.
But look, what's his name? Look, I mean, this recent coaching hires, Taylor lucked up with his 3rd year. Taylor lucked up. It was a huge argument, huge discussion about him getting fired, but they gave him his 3rd year, and look what that they gave him.
Well,
it's rare.
You know what? I think some organizations, even if the Cincinnati Bengals wasn't in the playoffs, the way they were playing this year, and to me, to be honest, I don't think Cincinnati is one of those teams that fire coaches. They had Marvin Lewis for like 18 years, 16 years. They don't. Just like what we go. I'm gonna segue right into this. Vikings. The Vikings don't fire coaches. They gave Dennis Green 10 years. They gave Mike Zimmer 8 years. They gave Brad Childress. They give coaches time. So, which to me, it's they want to win. And right now, I know you said this earlier, Mo, but right now, Chris Carter said on NFL AM, I think that, Harbaugh, he said he felt good. I think they probably will hire Harbaugh and give him, I think that's a good hire.
Michigan people seem pretty convinced that Harbaugh is going to Minnesota.
Yeah, I think he is. It fits him. He'll have Kirk Cousins.
I think
He'll probably get the most out of him.
Yeah. I mean, for a style, it matches because you got Dalvin Cook, you have pieces in place. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't be shocked at the hire. To be honest with you. I think what they have in place there will fit kind of what his scheme is, who he is. And I think defensively, you have to fix that defense real quick. And to be honest with you, depending on what Rodgers does, a quick fix of his defense puts you almost in the lead of this division. If Rodgers leaves, I think this puts them in the driver's seat. I've always said that if Rodgers leaves, this is the team in waiting that can probably take over this division.
Yep.
So and it takes fixing that defense. Now, do I think they'll go to the playoffs and go win a game or two? No. I have to see the defense really improve before I say that. Offensively, they have the weapons to give anybody go. Like with you, a healthy Dalvin Cook, you got Phelan, you got Jefferson who's been balling. They have the weapons to get everybody work. But defensively, will they get enough stops? That'd be my question.
Yeah, I think.
I think it'll be interesting to see who Harbaugh brings in. Does he reunite with Vic Fangio in Minnesota?
Yeah,
I could. Oh man, that's.
Oh man, yeah.
Fangio is his DC in San Francisco.
Yeah, that means they would go to. He likes that 3-4.
I think Fangio could adapt to the players that Minnesota has right now. But
I think they could go to a 3-4.
If you're Minnesota, you could land Harbaugh and Fangio. Then,
damn,
sign me up.
That's actually pretty good. Fangio's a really good defensive coordinator.
I mean, you still need to figure out what they're going to do with the quarterback. He's got one more year left. He's getting paid a boatload of money for his last.
He's getting paid.
I mean,
how much is it? Is it a? Let me look at it. I gotta see because it's ridiculous, and they can't do anything about it.
Is this the last year of Cousins' extension? The new extension they gave? Because they gave us. This is the second time they gave him an extension, ain't it?
Yeah. This is last year.
Because he's been in Minnesota 4 years now, 3 years. I know at least 3.
He's been there longer than that.
Yeah,
he signed a 2-year, $66 million contract.
Yeah, they would have a dead cap hit of $45 million.
Yes.
So Cousins is going nowhere.
He's not going nowhere. It's $45 million.
I mean, last year he kind of earned it for the first time in a while, as far as his numbers go. But I mean, that's crazy.
And then he'll be 35, so he could probably sign. And it doesn't look like he's slowing down, so he could probably sign another 4-year deal.
I mean, he's a guy like Breeze that like the arm strength isn't the core of his game. It's being more accurate with balls and everything. So,
hey fellas, it just popped up on my phone. They said the Rams offensive coordinator has emerged as the favorite to get the Minnesota job.
O'Connell.
Yeah.
Oh, let me see.
My phone, I got the ESPN app.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the favorite, O'Connell.
He's emerged as the favorite to get that job.
We'll see. I mean, he's returning to Michigan. That's why. Harbaugh just said he's returning to Michigan. I'm serious.
Go back.
Boy, that interview must not have gone well at all.
Yeah. He said
he like what's being said. He must not like the control he's going to get of what's been said.
Yeah, he said he's returning to Michigan. And then Michigan's going to have to pay him.
I'll take Harbaugh in Carolina.
He'll be back. He's going to get a shot. He'll probably sign a 3-year. Listen, he's good. All right, so we done with the Vikings. What do you think about the Texans hiring Josh McCown, who has no coordinator experience? I mean, they haven't hired him yet. My apologies, but he's had his second interview and they really like him.
Wasn't he on a roster a couple years ago?
Yeah. He retired and went straight into the coaching staff. And it sounded like their plan was going to keep David Culley for a few years and then install McCown as head coach.
Yeah,
for reasons.
What are y'all?
Oh boy.
It,
I mean,
one of the NFL reporters
crazy
that I follow on Twitter.
Such a slap in the face, yeah.
It really is.
It's not even
Ben Albright, who's a Broncos reporter, but is plugged in nationally.
Yeah.
The name he's thrown out that people should keep in mind is Jonathan Gannon, the DC from Philadelphia for the Texans job.
I've heard his name pop up.
Yeah,
I've heard his name.
He was an assistant in Indianapolis 2 years ago. Followed Sirianni to Philadelphia.
The defense played good.
Yeah, their defense was solid. He's was well liked in Indianapolis. But if I am Gannon and potentially get one crack at a head coaching job,
I'm not taking.
Why on earth would I take it in freaking Houston right now?
I'm not taking that.
Organization is a mess.
Get fired.
Just for the money. Just for the money. You can't
It
say
ain't worth it.
You can't say I think I can succeed there. There's no way you can look at that situation and say I think I can win. I mean, everybody has confidence in themselves, swagger, but come on, it's a difference. Like you can't look at that and say I can succeed here because you're not gonna get free agents. By the time you can maybe draft or whatever to get players there, you're gonna get fired. So, like for instance, they got the second pick in the draft. You're gonna get a DN. You're either gonna get a DN from Michigan or the DN from Oregon. Okay, is they really gonna get a game record like that in that division that even remotely win you 5 games? Maybe 3, 4 if you're lucky.
4 this year.
And that's because of David Culley.
They've interviewed McCown and Hines Ward. What?
I don't know what's going on.
Hines Ward isn't even a position coach
in
the NFL level.
I don't know.
He's like an assistant at Florida Atlantic or something.
That
does not scream serious.
That's why the Josh McCown is like, yo.
I mean, if that's their plan, just pull the trigger. If you're going to do it. Let them flame out in a year, and then maybe you can move on. Again, they hired a GM from the Belichick from New England, from that organization. I don't know what they're doing.
This is rough.
Oh, Mo.
I'm for it. I don't know what to do.
Mo, Kevin O'Connell is from the Washington Commanders, actually. So if he does good, if he does good, that'll be another.
Wasn't he a quarterback coach or something?
Yep. Another one Bison does. He was an offensive coordinator
before Sean McVay?
Before Ron Rivera.
Yeah. He's a former NFL quarterback. He was in New England for a long time.
I liked him as
I don't know if he ever actually played.
Did he have some ties to Kirk Cousins? Did he have ties to Kirk Cousins? He was there when Kirk Cousins was there?
Yeah. He was a quarterback coach in 2000. No, he wasn't. 17.
Okay.
So he was, I guess Haskins and who was our quarterback at 17?
I know. I don't know, boy. We didn't change so many quarterbacks. I can't answer that. But Corey, you was right. Corey, you was right.
I don't know, man.
Cousins will be going into his 5th year at Minnesota. He just finished his 4th year there, so it's gonna be his 5th year there. And he's been in the playoffs twice, I think, once, twice, something like that.
Let me see who was our quarterback in 2017. But yeah. So anyway, all right.
Alex Smith, man.
Maybe Jaguars. Who do you think the Jaguars? I don't really know. No, Kirk Cousins was there in 2017.
Okay, so this is last year.
Probably last year.
Is Lovely still the favorite? Is that been official? Is he the favorite? Has he been hired? What's going on with that situation?
I think they're working out something with their contract.
No, the word is Leftwich is willing to take the job, but he does not want the GM. He wants his own GM.
Makes sense. I believe.
Yeah, I get.
Yeah, he'll be all right. I think Leftwich will get another opportunity.
Jacksonville isn't right now willing to fire the guy that's in the GM spot.
Which is weird because now I heard they're interviewing Rick Spielman for like a high position That has to be like, this is another dysfunctional run organization. This has to be like Trent
Baalke.
Trent Baalke has to be like, why are you hiring a former GM?
I mean, honestly, it could be a move to keep Baalke around and be like, oh, see, we hired somebody else to try to appease other like coaching candidates, because as long as Baalke's in charge, I don't know, even with Trevor Lawrence, I don't know how much interest there is in that job right now.
No.
Like Byron Leftwich makes so much sense.
Yep.
Former player there, has proven himself as a coordinator. What are you doing, Jacksonville? You get rid of Trent Baalke. Your fan base doesn't want Baalke.
No, get rid of him.
Professionally, Baalke hasn't been great. Get rid of him.
Get rid of him, and you know.
But actually,
I don't think Rick Spellman was a bad GM. I think
he had a good run of success in Minnesota.
In Minnesota, yeah, he did.
Yeah, he would make a good hire as a GM. Leftwich would be a great hire for the coaching spot. And, having a former NFL coach that can help Trevor Lawrence along after a tumultuous rookie year, it makes too much sense. So hopefully the Jags screw it up.
Yeah, that's why they're a bad franchise.
All
right.
Number one pick in, and they're gonna. From all accounts I've heard, the DN, either the one from Michigan or the one from Oregon.
Oh, they're not gonna. Yeah,
Thibodeau or Hutchinson opposite of Josh Allen is freaking scary.
Yeah. Either or is awesome.
I don't want to see that for 10 more years.
Yeah, they're gonna have that. Let me see who else. Denver had a good duo like that.
Ware and Miller.
Yeah. That they were terrorizing. Went to the Super Bowl. All right, I don't think they are. Saints. Dennis Allen probably gets that, but I mean, they got a lot of work to do.
Just look at the cap space. They got a lot of work to do.
They need to blow it up, man.
Yep.
I don't
trade Michael Thomas. Trade Kamar.
If the situation was better, I would scream for Bieniemy. But with that situation being is, I don't think he would be like, why would I leave Kansas City for that?
Bieniemy would. I think at this point, Bieniemy would take any job he could get.
Right.
It would be a situation like Bruce Arians with the Cardinals.
Yep.
He took that job because he had waited so long without an opportunity that he took the first one that came.
Bruce Arians was another one that took forever to get hired.
I mean, do you think the Saints forever to get hired for him? I mean, do you think the Saints might be holding out for him, like waiting for the Super Bowl, waiting for everything, or they just haven't decided?
I think that Sean Payton. I don't think it threw them off. I think it did, but they were like, all right, we have to respect it.
Right.
I don't know where we go from here. I think they're taking their time.
They have decisions to make in-house about the next 2 to 4 years of that franchise before they hire a head coach.
Yeah.
Because the front office needs to have it decided, locked in. Are we blowing it up?
Yep.
Or are we trying to take another crack at it next year?
Yeah.
Because the head coaches are going to wonder, like, hey, what's your guys' plan? Because that's going to impact some of those offers. Like Doug Peterson, he interviewed for the job. Do you think he's really going to want to come into a situation where they're about to blow it up and he has no idea what that roster is going to look like next year?
No.
Do you think with Brady retiring, they take a shot at? Do you think that change their approach?
It changes the math a little bit there. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you suddenly
the
have an NFC South that is wide open.
Wow.
Yeah, NFC in a total is.
And you saw this year, your defense is good enough to win you some games.
They might try. They might shoot for Russ. I know they were asking, but I don't know.
Man, I have no idea how they make that work.
I don't know how they make that work. That cap is crazy.
I don't know how, it makes sense, but financially, how does that work?
That cap is
$70 million over.
I don't know how they. I don't know. I think you know what they did. I think they put. Y'all see the meme, and you know that it's this tape. It's this commercial always. Oh, what's that tape called, man? It's flex tape, flex all tape. And he puts the tape over the tub that's squirting the water out. That's what the Saints did. They were like, all right, There it is. It'll fix. It's still gonna leak.
Yeah.
It's a piece of
Yeah.
tape. It's gonna burst, man. So that's not compared to, man.
You thought Jameis Winston and give it Taysom Hill a little extension and keep him as a utility person to go push it.
Yeah, but
They paid him.
I mean,
a lot of money.
is the next coach going to use Taysom like Peyton did? Like
No,
Sean Payton loved him some Taysom Hill. Does anybody else?
no,
Nah.
no.
Sean
Sean Payton
Payton.
he probably did that because he knew it was going out. For real.
I think they did it with he liked having Hill and they needed the flexibility so that you give him the extension, push that cap hit down the road a little bit. Look, I think the Saints should blow it up, and if they do that, I think a really interesting hire for them would be D'Amico Ryan.
Oh,
I think you get Ryan because he was a really good linebacker as a player.
he was.
And he hasn't been coaching that long. He has risen up the ranks really quickly to become a defensive coordinator.
And he's
So
in.
he's got a lot of talent. He's only been coaching like 4 years.
Yeah, he's coming up. He's gonna get a job soon.
So
I've
I
heard
think
his name.
you blow it up and you essentially give him the opportunity to learn on the job. Because if you blow it up, you're not expecting to compete for a year or two.
Yeah.
So you let him take his lumps. And unless he goes out there and is like a Steve Wilkes or a Vance Joseph or someone that, or like, what's his name that just got fired from Giants and like clearly shows they are in over their head and don't know what they're doing.
Oh, like Joe Judge, yeah.
Like Joe Judge, yeah. That like I've never wanted to advocate firing a head coach after 1 year, but when you see a train wreck, like that's not going to get worked out over time.
He better go be the special teams coordinator at Green Bay. He better go be the special teams coordinator in Green Bay.
Right. So yeah, I think you get a really promising young coach like D'Amico Ryan. You bring him in, you let him work out his lumps for a year or two, and then let him grow into his own. With by the time you get a roster that can actually compete.
Yeah, I agree, man. They gotta blow it up. Unfortunately.
Fortunately.
I mean, if they do, I mean, Carolina kind of looks like they have the inside track to that division.
They need a quarterback. They can get one. It might.
I mean, it's the market's open.
It is.
The market's open. All right, let's what y'all okay. All right, let's do this. Let's talk about there was an article, Bleacher Report. It said that the Rams aren't validated with the Matthew Stafford trade until they win a Super Bowl.
That's dumb.
Agreed.
Go ahead, go ahead, Kurt.
I'm saying the guy who ever wrote the article lost credibility. I wouldn't read another article because it's dumb. It doesn't make any sense. How is it not valid because they made this? Now, if they had lost to San Francisco
or Arizona or Tampa, I got you. Yeah.
Maybe not Tampa, but if you lost to Tampa had injuries, but if you lost to Arizona, if you lost to the 49ers, yeah, I can understand maybe you come out, especially if you lost to Arizona because that's the first round. But if they had played Green Bay or something like that and they had lost, I'd have been like, I think it's still valid because I mean they played a better team. Like Green Bay to me was the better team.
Yeah.
But if you lost to 49ers, you lost to that game, then I could understand coming out and saying that. But you make it to the Super Bowl, even if they lose the game, I don't understand how you can say the trade is not valid at that point. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, he got his team there. This is pretty much what you wanted. They weren't the favorite. In a lot of people's eyes, majority of people's eyes, I would say. I think Green Bay and Tampa Bay were probably the two favorites over top of them before the season started. Then probably the Rams. But I mean, you made it there in your first year, and you lost some players along the way. You didn't have Cam Akers for the most part. You lost Robert Woods late in the season. You brought in Odell to try to adjust him to the ways of the Rams. Defense wasn't playing well like they were last year, and then now they in the playoffs they turned it around. So I mean, like I don't understand how it's not a valid trade when I mean if they had Jared Goff in this team, Jared Goff is not taking this team this far. So just the fact that they got a guy who's never won a playoff game to this point on a new team, learning the new system, things like that, and he gets a team for the first year to a Super Bowl, it's already valid to me, whether they win or lose.
Yep. Everything Craig just said, I will throw in. You also have to consider the fact that the Rams value first-round picks differently than everyone else in the NFL. So giving up multiple first-round picks to bring in Matthew Stafford doesn't mean the same thing to them that it does everyone else, because they have been able to build a really good roster by trading those first-round picks for veterans and being, doing a little bit more maneuvering. So the fact that they're in the hole and that losing those first-round picks, a lot of teams that would hurt, the Rams have made it work. And because they've been hitting on some of those later picks.
When I first heard this, I was like, look. It was Gary Davenport. I was like, listen. And some people agree with him. I don't. I think, and I'm gonna first to say it, I was like, trade for Matthew Stafford, you gotta Jared Goff at least got your Super Bowl. No. It is straight. They're okay, whether they win or lose the Super Bowl. Everything that Craig said, everything that Corey said, right? Their first round picks are going to be in the 20s and 30s. Matt Stafford, look, Tom Brady's retired. The only quarterbacks in the NFC, we don't know where Russell Wilson is, right? But let's say Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, Kyler Murray. The NFC is wide open. And with that Rams roster, not to say it's a dynasty, but this might not be their only Super Bowl they go to.
I would agree. Their window should be open for.
It should be open for a couple of years. So, of course, by the time they're ready to pick again.
Yeah,
They're cool. They're cool with me.
The wild part is what people don't look at this is, and no disrespect to you, Jared Goff, but Jared Goff wouldn't have been able to handle the pressure that was then put on them, because you look at what they did with the moves. You went out and got an Odell Beckham, who a lot of people was like character issues. Do you really bring him in? You brought in Von Miller. You did the defense lost some pieces and lost its D coordinator. The defense wasn't on the same level as a year ago, but they still are very solid. So you do all these things and you put this pressure on this young man, and he rose to the occasion. Stafford just rose to the occasion. A solid season. He's helped he's combined with Cooper Kupp with almost 2,000 yards receiving. Like, you look at the things he's accomplished, even though Dale is going out here and playing at a high level and playing with some confidence and excitement and playing with some swag again. So you look at this, I think I salute Stafford for the pressure that was put on him and what he's been able to do that I don't think Goff would have did. So for this to come out, and to be honest with you, when did this come out? When did this article come out?
Oh, maybe what's today? Today, maybe 2 days ago. Yesterday, 2 days ago.
I think depending on how it's worded, it almost looked like a slap in the face to the Bengals to say if he doesn't beat the Bengals, it's not validated. Like, as if the Bengals almost don't have a shot. So if he doesn't win the Super Bowl, you can't validate the trade. I can't say that, because we've all seen when a young team get hot, or a team. Look at the Patriots. Because we're gonna go into Tom Brady later. Look at the Patriots when they was first grooming up and growing up, and Tom Brady was young and nobody was giving them a shot, and everybody was saying it can't be done. He was young growing up. He won the Super Bowl. So this team, you don't know no better when you're young. When you're young and you're winning, you don't know no better. You're growing. So I wouldn't sleep on the Bengals with this comment that he made, but I think.
While he's frozen, I will also throw out there that Odell Beckham is not with the Rams if Jared Goff is the quarterback.
Nope.
No.
There's no way he would have signed him if they had Goff.
No.
No.
I agree.
Play like this either. If Jared Goff is still on that roster, I don't think Cooper Kupp is having this season.
No.
No.
I know almost 2,000 yards.
No. And then you got to factor in that there wasn't really a running game. So I think Jared Goff would have limped in the playoffs and they would have lost again. And yes, it is. They're good. the Rams want to win. They're one of those teams that go into the season that want to win. And there's been evidence since Sean McVay has got there. They're one of those teams every year. I was just thinking like, dang, I've never picked the Rams to have a bad season. Since Sean McVay's been there. Same with Pittsburgh. I think they're gonna get a quarterback. Like if Pittsburgh gets Jimmy G, they're gonna be right back every year. You know, so but all right.
Compete for the wild card.
Yeah,
They won't compete for the division.
Hold on. I'll say early funny part.
They'll compete. No, they'll be better than what Ben had.
As soon as get Jimmy G, I can see 3 teams in that division making the playoffs next year because Baltimore won't be back. Like look at what they were doing before the injury. I think Baltimore's going to be back in the playoffs next year.
Yeah.
I don't see that.
Yeah.
Even
Even with Jimmy G. I think Jimmy G would play better than Ben.
Okay, I see what you're saying, Craig. They could have 3 this year if Baltimore didn't get hurt. I see what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. I forgot Baltimore didn't make it. Damn.
Yeah. Well, Lamar got hurt, man, at a crucial time.
They was 8-2 at that time. They was what 7-2, 8-2 before he went down. Before he got
Yeah,
9-2.
It was early. Maybe
Like
they were
8-3 or something.
8-3. They had they were cruising.
They lost 6 straight in the season. So yeah, they was 8-3 because they lost 6 straight in the season.
Yeah, they could. Lamar got hurt. All right, so it's also been said Patrick Mahomes.
Oh my God.
Right? This is what they're saying.
Who's that?
Is the Patrick Mahomes era over? Now listen, guys.
Who's they saying this?
I saw it on First Things First, Undisputed. Listen. I have to go to therapy, right? I get emotional when the game is going on. Sometimes I say irrational things. But because I'm gonna start off with this. The era, it's not over. Listen, Tom Brady, it took 10 years to win Super Bowls. I think Patrick Mahomes will be fine. It happens. This is his first. You know what I compare it to? Rocky IV. This is the first time he was like, he's cut. Patrick Mahomes is human. He is. He's a quarterback. It's happened to Brady, right? It's happened to Peyton Manning. It happened to Aaron Rodgers this year. It happens to all great quarterbacks where it's happened to Joe Montana. It's happened. It happens to all the great players ever. They always get knocked down. And, I applaud him for taking the blame for it and putting it on his shoulders. And he'll be back. They're going to be in a contention for years to come. To me, they're kind of like how the Patriots are. They're just going to – you can pick them to win it every year, and nobody's going to bat an eye.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. I know it wasn't crazy. I get emotional on text, man.
You threw that into the group chat there. I was like, come on.
Oh, man.
Don't be a prisoner of the
therapy.
moment here.
I got to go. I'm a prisoner of the moment. I have to go to therapy because I do that with every team. Oh, my gosh. Oh, anyway, go ahead. Anybody got thoughts? For real. This was actually covered on First Things First.
Right.
Is everything going on?
Everybody
Do they have to
that.
try that hard to have a topic to talk about?
Yeah, they do. I mean, it's sad, but look at this. The whole landscape right now. They're going to be in contention. Like, just look at it. No team. Like, think about this for a second. This is going to fuel this team. Andy Reid's going to find some way to use this as fuel. Mahomes is a competitor. They're going to be pissed off next year. I don't see where they're going to go. You can't say you be outside your mind and say they're not going to make the playoffs. And then once they make the playoffs, it's like, okay, you're going to bet against Mahomes. You're going to have your hands full. Like, so it's a situation of no, the window's not closed for them. Is the AFC getting better? Yes. Is the AFC scary? Yes. But if you really look at this right now, you got to equal and equate all these things. Let's equate, and I'm just going to stay on 2 right now. Injuries and quarterback consistency. If you stack teams getting injured during the season and you stack quarterbacks being consistent against Mahomes, What are we going to do here? Like, and then defenses. People building the defenses. Now people going to build a defense against them, but do you have the teams? Do you have the talent to do what certain teams want to do defensively against them? Because honestly, and we'll get to that later. I'm gonna use one of my points now, though, and I'll get back to it later. I feel like they got too cute against Cincinnati.
Yeah.
They got too cute. Sometimes you're too high on your talent and you get too cute. You had McKinnon and you had a Lair back. Like, you got to use them. You can't get too cute on your talent of Tyreek Hill and Kelsey and just get real cocky about, oh, they're gonna always get open, they always make plays. Like, use your other weapons. Your other weapons were hot. So I think they're gonna be back. I think they're gonna be motivated. This game is gonna fuel them. They're gonna be a very, if they're not, they're already scary, but I think they're gonna be even more scary next year because they're gonna be highly pissed off because they're gonna look at that game and say, we threw that away.
I mean, I can pretty much agree. Like, I don't understand the article. You gotta stop going to these articles, man. These articles are
They're topics, man. We got people.
I can I can dig it, man. But like, if you write this article and you actually think about it and you put it down on paper, you're like, yeah, that looks good right there. Yeah, I'm going with this. Like, something's clearly wrong. Like, there's no way that should make it out of the editing room or whoever has to approve that, because that's dumb. That's just dumb. Like, there's no way after 1 year or after one game that he lost in the AFC Championship game that now all of a sudden his window's closed. Like, I think it's going to be still tough. And you got these guys like Allen, who clearly, like, he's mad as well that they lost the game that they lost. Herbert, he's never even been to the playoffs. Obviously, you still got Burrow. Like, there's a lot of, obviously, the best quarterbacks are in the AFC. So the road is still going to be tough. Definitely going to be tougher probably next year. It depends on the rosters and things like that they make. But I mean, like, I'm not going to count Patrick Mahomes out.
Well, the GM did say he wants to bring Tyrann Mathieu, Orlando Brown, and Melvin Ingram back. So,
well, they do got a lot of work to do because that defense, I mean,
is ridiculous.
Is not good. So I think their emphasis, or to me, I think their emphasis needs to be defense in the offseason.
Yeah, they got to improve that secondary.
It's not good.
So, I mean, we might as well get into. We might as well segue into. I guess we already talked about what the Chiefs need to do. Right? Any thoughts from the game, the Bengals versus Chiefs?
One thing I saw Brian Baldinger talk about on Twitter was in his breakdown.
I need to follow him. I like him.
He's a really good follow. He was talking about Mahomes fell into not taking what the defense gave him. Kansas City was trying to draw up the big play, trying to score quickly, trying to hit the big shots down the field instead of just
digging down. Yeah.
Take those 7, 8, 9 yard chunks and you're going to get points. Everything can't be 40, 50 yard chunk plays. You know, it's a lesson that Peyton Manning had to learn early in his career.
Yeah.
And I think because of the just insane amount of success that Mahomes has had, people forget that he's year 5?
Yeah. He was doing that. I think he did that a lot against Buffalo and the Steelers, and he was doing that. And I think he got away. One take, I'm gonna say this, and I know it's the obvious, but they should have cooked the field goal at the end of the half. And just Andy Reid wanted to, but Mahomes was like, "I got this."
Yeah. The clock management, those like 9 seconds left running a bootleg, that's a time-consuming play. Yeah. It made no sense. Then running another play with 4 seconds left. Yeah, that whole clock management didn't make sense.
I don't think so. I don't have a problem with them going for a touchdown in that situation.
Yeah,
because unlike the week before when Tennessee got a touchdown and then they got a penalty and they still tried to go for 2 instead of trying to get the extra point. They were up 20. They were up 21-3 at that point. So
I got you.
More points on the board, trying to pretty much end the game. And like, to me, it was just bad execution. If they had thrown the ball to the end zone or something like that, at least take a shot at the end zone. Don't do no swing pass out to your fastest player just because he's the fastest player or whatever it is. But I think he's going to get in with no timeouts left. No, you got to at least take a shot at the end zone. If that doesn't work, kick the field goal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
24-3 instead of 21-3.
That was Mahomes' fault, though.
It was.
That
It
was
was.
Mahomes.
And it came back to bite him because went on. It was just like a downward spiral of just trash in the second half because he just like, I mean, 18 for 21 in the first half, 210.
Yeah, it was crazy.
No turnovers. And in the second half, you go 8. Second half of overtime, you go 8 for 18. 65 yards.
I was like, is the Bengals defense this good? Or was I tripping?
I mean, he had a QBR of 1.4 in the second half in overtime.
Yeah.
1.4.
I don't know.
Anybody to do who's bad, who's mediocre. Patrick Mahomes is one of the best of all time.
Already, yeah.
Had a 1.4 in the second half. That's terrible, man. I mean, I
think he's gonna bounce back. I know. Yeah, he was hurt by it though. He was like, "This is the worst game I played." He was like, "It falls on me." I love to hear that. You know, some people, Craig, don't be taking no responsibility.
That should definitely fall on him. That performance in that second half was one of the worst performances I think I've ever seen in my life.
It was weird.
I mean, from I should say from like a really good quarterback perspective.
Yeah. From Patrick Mahomes, or Tom Brady, or you talk about like Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, Peyton level, man.
I thought Aaron Rodgers was bad. His second half or whatever.
Yeah.
Or next 3 quarters, but I mean, this was probably worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think they got a lot of work to do on that defense, though, and
ton of work, man.
I definitely think they could probably use another receiver. I like Pringle; he's solid. Hartman is, but I think they need to bring in at least one more wide receiver in there, opposite of Hill. I think they could benefit from that. It's another weapon. Have the ball, or maybe as a decoy. It doesn't have to be like I kind of wish that Josh Gordon thing had worked out, even though I knew it wasn't.
Yeah,
I think he had 1 touchdown this year. He was really nowhere to be found. But
thinking this receiving class is deep.
It is. It's
but I don't know if they want to go young again, though, because they have Pringle and.
Pringle's about to be a free agent, so
big proponent of Pringle and Hartman. Like I just don't believe in them. Like they're like a good number 2. I think combined they're number 2, but I think one of them over the other, they're nothing special to me. So you pretty much you have Hill, and that's pretty much it. And I don't understand.
Hartman's a guy that's going to run one route.
He can take a reverse and maybe get a couple yards,
screen or something. Yeah,
he's just not that guy.
Yeah, good on punt, right?
Yeah, good special teams guy. Good return guy.
All right.
I think Kansas City also needs to address the running back position. Like Edwards-Helaire hasn't been what they were hoping for. You've got to get some kind of consistent production there.
Bring back McKinney.
They need to get that defense straight too, because they've only got after giving up non-sack or after getting sacked 9 times, you only get sacked them once.
That's crazy.
I mean, granted, the line
they have Chris Jones and they have Frank Clark.
Yeah. They're not a good sacking team though. They weren't high in terms of team sacks this year.
And that's what I think the defense needs to address. I understand we can talk about Mahomes' mistakes. We can talk about this. I'm going back to my thing about defense. I'm still a firm believer of you up 21-3 on the road in the AFC Championship game. You got to get stops. I can understand that. We can talk about Mahomes' second half, and I understand the Bengals is the offensive juggernaut or whatever, but 21-3, like at home, like for a chance to go to the Super Bowl, and you look like that, like you can't get sacks. You know they're gonna pass now. You know you have the great opportunity to pin your ears back, and like you said, Corey. Craig, we can't get to him. We can't get no sacks. We have 18. How are we not getting to this quarterback and we have 18? Like it has to be addressed. This defense has to be addressed, especially the back 7. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah. So Rams 49ers. I'm not gonna lie, it was a great game. We all picked the. Wait a minute, hold on, wait. Did anybody pick the 49ers?
No,
I don't think. Well, I think you picked the Rams. Listen, if the 49ers won, I wouldn't have been super shocked. I would have just been like, "Wow, a team beat a team 3 times." I would have been like, "Okay, I'm a little shocked," but it was a good game, and man, San Francisco is built. But I will say this though, we'll get into this next week. But whatever team won, Joe Burrow is gonna get touched.
Yeah, I said that.
It's gonna get. It doesn't matter if it was San Francisco or Rams. That defensive line is going to feast.
I think he's gonna get a little touched up on a little bit more with this one. There,
yeah,
I think
he's gonna get touched.
What they struggle with, especially like, and what they struggle with, I think, it's going to be bad. Like they're going to find a quick passing game, quick screen game, and they can't get behind. If they get behind 21-3 with this team, with this Rams team,
it's a wrap.
You definitely had.
No, because then you can start. You have Odell Beckham and Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
That's gonna be. You don't want to give Sean McVay a lead.
Yeah,
because he's going to get more innovative.
Yeah, you might want to keep that Toradol on the sideline there for Burrow.
Yeah.
The big takeaway for that game for me was the atrocious clock management from both teams. Like, how are you out of timeouts with 10 minutes to go in the game?
Both of them, right?
The Rams, the Niners had all their timeouts, but then you get the ball back, 6.5 minutes to go, and you take a delay a game with 3 timeouts. And then very next play, Jimmy tries to throw an interception. San Francisco got insanely lucky that he got dropped. And then on the last drive of the game, like just the throw a ball for like no gain, essentially, kept the clock running, the horrible throwaway. It's like, what were they doing clock management-wise, San Francisco? Made no sense.
So somebody did, okay, it was Colin Cowherd. He did say this. He was like, Nick Wright was like, he agrees with you. Clock management was ridiculously terrible. And he said that Colin Cowherd was like, Sean McVay was blowing those timeouts and those challenges because he knew that he couldn't drive 90 yards down the field against San Francisco's defense. I'm gonna try. We can't drive. San Francisco's defense is good. He was like, we can't drive down the field. So I thought from that perspective, I was like, yeah, but I still would have.
But the weakness of San Francisco's defense is that secondary. You've got 2 good wide receivers. Like,
oh, okay. Garoppolo, I've never been man, but I think Corey put it in the group though. That fourth quarter where he went 3 for 9, 30 yards and a pick. First 3 quarters he was solid, 13 for 21, 202 yards, 2 TDs, no picks. That fourth quarter and overtime, or no, it wasn't overtime. That fourth quarter.
This fourth quarter, yeah.
Oh my God, that's horrible. Like that's just bad. This is why I do not want Jimmy Garoppolo on my team. Stuff like this. I don't want any. I don't want to deal with 3 good quarters and then the game's on the line. You can't produce,
and he loses.
You end up throwing just 30 yards in a quarter.
What if y'all go to the playoffs, Craig?
Jimmy's not been great in the fourth quarter in the playoffs.
If they go to the playoffs, it won't be because of Jimmy Garoppolo. The reason why they won these games wasn't because of Jimmy Garoppolo. He had no touchdowns.
Yeah, it's his defense. Yeah, their defense is special teams.
The reason why they won the Super Bowl a couple years ago, it wasn't because of Jimmy Garoppolo. Majority of it was from the defense. They had a really good defense that year.
Did he have 3 pass attempts in one game? Was it the Vikings game?
Mac Jones. Oh
no, Jimmy G in the playoffs had 3 pass attempts. I'm gonna find out.
But I mean, you look at Garoppolo's 40-something yard touchdown that he had with Debo. That was all Debo.
That was Debo.
Yep.
I think that interception or lack of interception by what's his name, Tart, that hurt the 49ers. That really hurt the 49ers actually. And he came out and said it was pretty much all on him or whatever it is. And he should have caught the ball. That was a terrible pass.
He should have caught it, but
he should have caught it. Like there's no excuse for him to drop that ball.
Yeah,
man. That's come on, man. This is why the secondary to me is a position of need in the offseason. The secondary is probably the worst part. Like Corey said, it's the worst part of their defense. They need to get it fixed. They need to get it fixed as soon as possible. They have players on their roster that are free, that are staying, but the guys that are free agents are just like not guys I would like. Okay, I got to bring this guy back and bring this guy back. They need. I mean, they have Josh Norman on their team.
Yep.
No,
They have Josh Norman.
out of here, man. I thought he was out of the league. He's still playing. Well, still on the roster. But yeah, they need to figure out a quarterback situation, which is probably going to be.
Yeah.
And I think they could use another wide receiver because Brandon Ayuk, I forgot he was even on the team for a while, about halfway through the season. Kind of just like the Chiefs. I think they have a good tight end and they have a good number one wide receiver, but the number two wide receiver, although I think Ayuk could be probably, I think he's better than Hartman and Pringle, but.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Ayuk
Ayuk has at least showed flashes.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, he's gotten into Shanahan's doghouse. And
Which I don't know. I don't know why. He's played phenomenal. All right, so against the Vikings in the playoffs, he only completed 11 passes. They only had 122 passing yards. They ran the ball. That's what I'm saying. I don't know that he was like
130 passing yards against Dallas.
Yeah, it's like.
Well, they didn't run the ball a lot. They had 50 yards running. The first game they had 156. Second game they had 135. Now, granted, the first game they could just salt away the game because they were up big. The second game was close, and then this game was close, but they didn't have any rushing. They couldn't run the ball, so that hurt. If you got to rely on Jimmy Garoppolo to win the game for you,
can't do it.
Come on, man. That's not good, man.
No, it's
Jeff Garcia probably real quiet now.
Oh, he's definitely shutting up.
Yeah, because I don't even know why
What he said.
I don't even know why he
just wants to get. He just wants to be in a.
He just wants to like be heard or something.
Everybody know who Jeff Garcia is.
Yeah, I think he should have just really just
like nobody can talk.
Said nothing.
Nobody's qualified that hasn't played. Come on.
I'm shut it down, guys.
Yeah, it's just not.
I think this is a true bridge to to Lance, or do you think they bring in or they try to really trade for?
It's Trey Lance's job.
Yeah, I would definitely go after. So this is the good thing about Mr. Brady. We'll get to him later. This is what we're gonna wrap up with. So the great thing with Jimmy Garoppolo is when Tom Brady, as much as everything that was going on, and he was supposed to replace him, Belichick wanted Garoppolo over Brady, right? Garoppolo said Brady treated him and told him everything that he knew. Everything. Like Alex Smith did with Patrick Mahomes. Like everything. This is what to play. This is what I see. This and that. So he said because Tom Brady treated him like that, he treated Trey Lance the same way. So I think that Trey Lance has a great year next year and continues to build on that. You're gonna hear him say, "I think Jimmy Garoppolo."
When he plays like trash, he's gonna say, "You know what, Jimmy Garoppolo."
He's not gonna play like. He's not gonna play like trash. I think Trey Lance is gonna be good, man. I think he's gonna be really good.
I mean, I think he's with the perfect coach for the skill set and what they do. I think it's gonna.
And they can build around him too. What?
Because I mean, I heard with the fact they're going to trade Garoppolo and what money is going to free up, they're going to offer Bosa and Debo extensions this summer.
Yeah, it'll still be good. Still be straight.
So, and then Ayuk is coming along. Ayuk is doing well. You got Debo, who's a star. You know what I'm saying? He's not. I still think
you gotta pay Debo.
They do need to find an every down running back.
Yeah, they do. You know, Shanahan likes those small backs, and I heard this from Shannon Sharp. He was like, they can't stay healthy. They get hit. You know, I think he needs.
Especially in that division, though. I mean, you got the Rams who hit. You got Seattle who's going to hit, and you know, you got. I mean, Arizona. Well, no, that's a different story. But
that's what I'm saying. So
you play Arizona early in the year, you're going to get hit.
Yeah. You play Arizona the last 7 games.
Well, all right. So, Washington football team, his new name is the Commanders. Anybody have anything? Bo, you shaking your head. What's up, man? Already?
It's garbage.
No, I mean, people.
Hold on. He said it's garbage.
No, Facebook been blowing up, but it's the problem. Everybody was Facebook was gonna blow up regardless of what their name is gonna be. So I really don't really even take a whole lot of stock or anything. People always want to have something to say regardless. So I really don't get high strung into it. I think the jerseys were decent. I like the black ones, to be honest with you. I do like the black ones out of all of them. I saw the 3 sets. I like the black ones. I mean, a lot of people, of course, like the white on white, but I like the black ones. The all black ones look kind of slick. But I ain't really putting too much into this at all. Like I think I saw one person say, if we start winning games, the name ain't gonna matter. You start winning games, you start knowing what you're gonna do. Ain't nobody really gonna be talking too much more about the name. So it's all about what you do with it and how you run with it. But yeah, I'm not really was impressed. But
It's going again.
There it is.
it was just truly bad. But I feel like no matter what we called it, no matter what it was going to be, everybody was going to have Twitter was going to blow up, Facebook was going to blow up regardless. I feel like in my eyes. I mean,
somebody was going to have an issue either way.
Yeah.
Craig, you don't like it?
I don't like the name, but I do like the uniforms. I thought the black uniforms were straight.
Everybody likes the black uniforms.
The white ones kind of look like the Cardinals to me a little bit, Arizona.
Yeah.
But it looks decent. I just don't like I don't like the nickname. I kind of thought they was gonna go with something with red in it. Even if they put red, whatever at the
like
end.
Red Hogs or Red Tails or Red Wolves
type thing or something like that. Maybe that they keep the song, just change out skins to hogs or tails or wolves or whatever. But I mean, I guess if they win games, like most say, if they win games, it'll help. But I just don't know if it really, in terms of the area, it fits. But in terms of the team, as of right now, there's no commander on that team. Like I just don't see a commander on that, like as far as a leader like that. Maybe on the defense, they have Jared Allen. They have some guys on that defensive side. But I just wasn't a fan of the actual name. And then now, I mean, what are you going to shorten it to? Can you shorten the name? Manders? I'm not going to call them that. Commies? That's
Hey.
I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like,
whether they like it or not, it's got to be commies.
But I mean, you could play on it with a little bit, like we're going to the command center or something like that. That might work a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I found something to make it work.
Something.
It's better than Washington football team.
It is.
Like it's. I hear Commanders. It's like, okay. I do have some issues with the jerseys. There were some interesting choices made. Like I'm going to say the burgundy helmets look really good. I really like those. The matte burgundy, the W, they look really nice.
Yeah.
So why the shiny black helmets when a matte helmet would have looked so much better with the jerseys?
Yeah.
And the fact that from a distance, the black ones kind of look like Steelers jerseys because they went with the gold numbering instead of burgundy.
Oh, okay.
And then the white jerseys, you have like the same font for the numbers on the black and the burgundy, and then you have a completely different font on the white ones. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
They made some choices. It's a step in the right direction. Hopefully they can maybe adjust a few things, but it's not Washington football team, so it's a win.
Yeah.
And they didn't call themselves the Snyders.
Yes. So listen, I think that when I heard about it, as soon as Red Wolves was out, I was like, okay. A lot of people thought it was going to be the Admirals, which makes sense. Military commanders make sense. Commanding in chief. Listen, 15 years from now, everybody's going to forget. I mean, you'll have certain people that have paraphernalia, but listen, the jersey sales are the goal has been completed, guys. The jersey sales are already top 10. So listen, the name is gonna grow on me. It fits. I can't be like it doesn't fit. I would have liked maybe the Red Hawks, right? Because of our winning tradition. But I think Commanders is what Snyder's going for. With all these things going on, he's trying to rebrand it, which makes sense. The stadium's probably going to be in Virginia, new stadium. So I get it. It's going to grow. And listen, winning cures all. So if they win, nobody's going to remember. I mean, listen, the history's still there. I'm not going to say that. But 20 years from now, kids are going to be like, I like the Commanders. I'm not going to say that.
I will say that they did screw up the whole presentation and the announcement.
Oh man, it was on the news at 4.
Hard.
It broke. It broke. I don't know if I sent y'all the picture, but it broke last night like 10. The news helicopter took the picture on Twitter, and it just everybody knew it was Commanders. Right before we go to work, I'm watching news with Faith. It's 6 a.m. The guy's like, last night we sent our chopper out. And it said Commanders. I was like, well, everybody. I didn't even watch the reveal because there was no point.
None. There was no point.
I watched it this morning. It was the presentation was terrible. It was.
Yeah.
That's what everybody says.
It was
bad.
And I didn't understand it. It had who's the president of the team?
Mark.
No.
Mayhew.
No, there was the black guy, the young
Doug
black,
Williams.
No, Doug Williams. He was there, but it was
not Martin Mayhew, not Doug Williams.
It was Jonathan Allen, Doug Williams, whoever the president is, young black guy. He was there.
It's
his name.
Jason Wright.
Jason
That's
Wright.
right. Yep.
And it was, and they had some guy. I can't remember who a guy from can't remember where he's from. Some news outlet, but he like the whole presentation was terrible. They were sitting in the stadium, and it just like nobody wanted to say the name. So Jason Wright threw it to Doug Williams, and he was like, "We're the Commanders." And then the guy who was the host tried to laugh, and like it was just bad, man. They didn't have any drum roll. They didn't have any like players with the like reveal it. It just wasn't good, man. The presentation was terrible.
It was bad. And they built up to this for how long?
They built up for a while.
The PR person, somebody need to be fired there. Marketing PR, somebody need to go.
It was
it
was bad.
Explains our organization is run. That's all I have to say. All right. We're gonna end on this note. Tom Brady. I'm gonna start off because I'm gonna share one of my favorite memories from him. Craig was there. This is a true story, guys.
Oh my God, it was the same one. I already know what it is.
Yeah, it just happened. So we were over before she was my wife. She was my girlfriend. So we were over at parents' house. Parents is pretty cool, and Craig was over there. Faith's sister Demita, me. Faith and Earl was there. I don't know if Earl's watching it or not. So they're down 28-3. Everybody's like, this is over. Faith goes in the other room. She's like, this game is over. I was like, listen, guys. It's not over with Tom Brady. I was like, they're gonna come back. And they did. True story. They did. And I'll never forget what he said on the sideline. Laser focus. And that's one of my memories. But, you know, the Tuck rules in there. Yeah, he got, listen, 20 years, man. He got some memories. But that was my, like, that was probably the one that takes the cake. Or the picture of him. And he looks like a 12-year-old boy in Michigan. But anyway, that's the one. I know. You know what? That joint is probably hanging in his wall. That probably gives him motivation every time he looks at that picture. Like, this is why I have 7 Super Bowls. But he's ending on a great note, right? Second in MVP voting. I think he's second team All-Pro. Led the league in all the categories. He won a Super Bowl without Belichick. He retired on top. 44. I'm done. He's good with me. I'm gonna miss him.
I think for me, and I know a lot of people be like, "Wow, why would you go to this particular season?" But I go to that season. He broke a lot of those records in 07 with Moss.
Oh, that's just crazy.
Man, it was just crazy just to see how to. And then I sat there and purposely made my way I had to watch that last one when they played the Giants to get to a perfect regular season.
Yeah.
Like it just.
Oh, you went to the game?
No. I'm talking about TV.
Oh, yeah, TV. Yeah.
And I tell people, let's be honest about this real quick. Yeah, people question that Super Bowl when they beat Seattle, but if you really look at it, the two where he had the Giants, he gave them fourth quarter leads down the stretch.
Yeah.
Like both those games, he gave them fourth quarter leads late. Like he's what, 1 or 2 stops away from adding 2 more Super Bowls to what the 8 he has.
Yeah, 7. Damn, he would have had.
So the 7 he has, like he easily could have 9 Super Bowls. Like you really look at those 2 Giants games, they had leads late in the fourth quarter. Like you remember Randy Moss did a closed casket and they came back downfield and Eli threw with to Plaxico Burress on the fade route. Like he gave them a lead. Like so. It's just looking at this man's career constantly, defying the odds over and over again. Every time people thought he was done or he was had or it was over, he did it. He proved you wrong again. And I would say can we really say Moss's Hall of Fame was off of New England? So let's take Moss out of the equation. His only other offensive weapon that's in the Hall of Fame right now, or going to be a Hall of Famer, I think that's his actual wide receiver. People is what, Gronk? None of his wide receivers he had over the years even been mentioned for Hall of Fame. I can't remember one, but maybe I don't even know if Troy Brown or any of those have been mentioned for Hall of Fame. So outside of Gronk, he's not had offensive weapons.
Walker was really good.
Okay, Walker. Yeah, but none of his running backs are going to the Hall of Fame. His best running back was Corey Dillon. And that was Corey Dillon on the downside of his career. You know what I'm saying?
Corey Dillon is the borderline Hall of Fame player.
Yeah.
Right.
He set the touchdown record with one of the greatest wide receivers to ever play. He spent much of his career with the greatest tight end.
There you go. Corey's about to break it down. I knew it was coming.
He won the first 3 Super Bowls on the backs of the defense that was littered with Hall of Famers, or what should be Hall of Famers. I know a lot of people talk about, Brady was 2 plays away from having 9 Super Bowls. He's also like 5 plays away from not winning 5 others. He retires as the most accomplished player in NFL history. I don't know that will ever be touched. I would say he's also the luckiest athlete in professional sports history. Just with all of the insane breaks that went in his favor, even going all the way back to getting drafted in New England, landing in a perfect situation.
Because Drew Bledsoe was there, right?
Knocked Drew Bledsoe out of the game to give him a chance.
Who's a borderline. Drew Bledsoe was a hell of a quarterback. He does not get enough praise for that, man.
A lot of people don't seem to remember. Tom Brady didn't play the AFC Championship game. Drew Bledsoe started that game and took the Patriots to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So to say that Brady was responsible for that Super Bowl win, it's like, I'm pretty sure they would have won that anyway with Bledsoe.
Yeah.
And it goes on and on, like the Tuck rule.
Man,
first Super Bowl shouldn't have happened. He's a couple of Vinatieri misses away from losing a couple more Super Bowls. Like,
I think Oakland would have won that Super Bowl. I think Oakland definitely would have won that Super Bowl. That's fair.
Probably. Yeah, like Brady is one of.
It would have been Oakland
greats.
against the Rams. Then you talk about Tom Brady's first one, right?
Raiders, Rams.
Wow.
I think it still would have been a really good game.
Wow.
Like Brady is unquestionably one of the greats of the game. He's the most accomplished athlete in NFL history. But I would argue he's not even greatest quarterback of his era, let alone all time. So maybe get out of the prisoner of the moment of his playing days, get away from it, and actually look at this stuff objectively. And you know, we can have that conversation later. But like I feel like you also can't ignore the multiple cheating scandals in New England when looking at his resume. The fact that, yeah, he won a Super Bowl without Belichick, but he played pretty poorly in the playoffs last year, had a defense that went on a just absolute dominant streak.
Yeah, we're never going to see. I mean, that was
And
crazy.
he had the most loaded offense that I think we've seen in decades. Like 3 all-pro wide receivers, an all-pro tight end, a Pro Bowl tight end, arguably the best offensive line in the league, a Pro Bowl running back. Like, that Bucs team was loaded that year. To like luck into that situation is pretty crazy too. Yeah, yes, he's a great, but let's pump the brakes on like the all-time thing and crowning all of that. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, I mean, yeah,
you gotta follow that one, buddy.
Yeah.
I don't know where to go. Like, I mean, Super Bowl 51 with the old down 28-3, and I said it was over. I was there when you said it was. You said, nah, it's not over. And then they came back and won in overtime against the Falcons, and I was happy that they won because the year before,
That's right.
Yep. Lost.
Yep.
Huh?
That's right. Yep.
Super Bowl 49, the 28-24 game against the Seahawks, where they didn't run the ball, and you saw Brady jumping up and down on the sideline. That was a good moment for him. Even though he wasn't involved in that play, but like just the whole everything that happened and see his reaction. This one hurts, but Super Bowl 38 against the Panthers, the Janet Jackson halftime show.
Oh man, they were bringing that up again.
But yeah, I know, right? But just the whole way that game ended, with Casey kicking the ball out of bounds and Brady getting a short field, and then he completed 4 or 5, and then they got in field goal range and they won the game on a voluntary field goal, which, I mean, that was like third one of those, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
So that was tough because they had a chance to win that game, and then it was just they pretty much blew it. But obviously the tuck rule was on my list as well. I don't know where that came from, but
I've never heard of that rule before in my life until it happened.
We won that game, but it happened. I personally had like a conspiracy theory because I think it was September 11th that happened that season.
That season, yep.
Yeah,
so
it did.
That's why I thought they won the game because they're the Patriots, red, white, and blue Patriots, blah blah blah, and then they win that game, and then obviously they go on and they win the Super Bowl against the Rams. They were 14-point underdogs or whatever it is, but I kind of thought the tuck rule was like a little conspiracy thing going on for the Patriots to win at the time. I kind of still think a little bit as well, but
it just came out of nowhere. I've never heard of that in my life.
Inexplicably bad rule.
And that tuck rule came out of nowhere, and September 11 Patriots, all that. So, it's a great career for Tom Brady. I'm going to miss him playing football. Like I think, at least for me, I know I get caught up in, and I just kind of take these guys, some of these great players for granted. Like LeBron James, I take him for granted. Kobe kind of took him for granted.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers. Like I take all these guys, I guess, that I watch for granted, like they're going to be around for a while, and I just look up. He's not going to be there on the sideline calling or throwing the football anymore. So that's going to be tough having to deal with. But at the same time, the Panthers don't have to play him anymore. He had a great career, Hall of Fame, definitely Hall of Fame career. He's going in a great class. Him and Ben are going in the class together.
Yeah. Oh, I know somebody's going to be. Man,
that's a good class.
That's a good class for just them two.
Yeah, you could too.
So if you somebody that hasn't, if you like, if this your 5th or 6th time, and you up with there.
Hey man, that's gonna be lit. Because then hold up, because then if Gronk retired, Gronk gonna be in that class.
Yep.
He would.
Which I believe he's probably going.
Oh
to.
yeah, I
I think he's going to.
fully expect
I
their
don't see
careers to
him
be tied
going.
together.
Yeah, I don't see him
He
going.
got pulled out of retirement the first time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't see him going back.
That's easy. First ballot, no brainers.
Yeah.
Yes.
3.
All three. Yeah.
All 3.
Yeah.
That is a great Hall of Fame.
It'll be Steelers Patriots Hall of Fame game. And
How long is Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
I mean, how long do you have to wait in the NFL? Is it 4
Is
years?
it? I think it's
5?
5. I think it's
5.
5.
Luke ain't coming up for a while. Luke still got another couple years.
Yeah, I think it's 5 years. 2027. So 5 years, yeah. He'll be eligible in 2027.
Who will?
Tom Brady.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
So Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady. Why would it impact Tom Brady? Retirement's not going to impact Ben Roethlisberger. These people just be saying stuff.
Let me ask you: Did you have him leaving the Patriots out of his retirement or
No,
Instagram post?
nope, no problem. There's no. I think that he's still irritated that they tried to get rid of him. Listen, Shannon Sharp says, and I hope when he says the Broncos didn't want him, he was like, "I gave y'all 10 years." I think it was a bad breakup. Remember, Belichick wanted Jimmy Garoppolo. He didn't want Brady. And I think that Brady's like, I gave you like 20 years, man. Well, at that time, it was maybe 17. I think they won one more after that. But yeah, I think he's resentful. I think the Hall of Fame speech, it'll be different. But right now, I think it's
time will have passed.
Yeah, I think the wound is still fresh. So I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. For real. I mean, it is what it is. You think something like it is? I mean, Belichick's gangster. Now, here's the crazy thing. They wouldn't have won a Super Bowl, but they wouldn't have Mac Jones. They would have Jimmy Garoppolo.
Maybe.
Probably a better position. That's what he wanted anyway.
They would have got rid of that dude.
And he would have been, oh, those fourth quarter mistakes. I can only imagine Belichick's face when Jimmy throws an interception in the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? Like, he threw the interception. Oh, here it is right here, guys. I wanted to tell you that. It was against the Green Bay Packers. Jimmy Garoppolo had like 60 yards in that playoff game, in a championship game when they beat Green Bay. That's how many yards he had. 68.
He's terrible.
68 in a championship game.
I think he just really benefited from the really great.
I was like, wait a minute. I knew I wasn't crazy. I was like, he played in a playoff game where he didn't have that. Look, hold on. Here it is. I was looking it up, play by play. Team stats. Yeah, he threw for 69 yards. That's crazy. This is the NFC Championship game. He threw 6 passes. I'm sorry, he threw 8 passes for 77 yards. 8 passes. This is why everybody doesn't like Jimmy G. I'm telling you, this is why teams are, they're going to get something for him now. He'll go somewhere. I think he'll do good. He'll go to Pittsburgh, and he fits Pittsburgh perfectly. So, but yeah, man, it's an interesting week. NFL. It's a lot that happens.